Hey folks, how's it going? This is Iron Seagull here, back with another Sims info/thoughts video. So I have some more info to talk about regarding cats and dogs, as well as the community stuff pack, which is now currently known as Eco Living. So I'm going to start off with something that's really exciting for builders, because I know I've been complaining a lot about how builders are getting the short end of the stick, and finally they're getting something new. Because as it's been noticed in the Gamescom footage for cats and dogs, there is this house right here that has octagonal roofs. And after Sims community made an article about it, SimGuruHouts replied saying, "Hey builders, maybe there's something to this," winky face, and you may know by now, when they do a winky face, that basically means they're confirming it. However, that's not all, because when Nando asked if octagonal roofs are the only new roof type, SimGuruHouts says, hee. So there is going to be more than that. I don't know what other roof types there could be though. I'm not really an expert in that area, so maybe some of you will have more ideas that you can say in the comment section below. I'm more like, I want more stair types. Hopefully spiral stairs will be in cats and dogs. I think that would be very fitting with this atmosphere of the new world, Brindleton Bay. And it'd be a nice throwback at the same time, because pets and spiral stairs made their debut in the Sims series at the same time through The Sims Unleashed. Actually, speaking of SimGurus, let's talk about some of their new icons on Twitter. So there's this one right here from SimGuru Nick, and it looks like grilled cheese aspiration Sims will be happy here as they can dress their pets in grilled cheese sandwich hats. Yeah. Then the next one I'm going to show off here is SimGuru JM's icon, which is basically a dog version of Vulpes from the Kids Room stuff pack. So that's awesome, because that's actually my favorite Void Critters. So looking forward to seeing Void Critter versions of cats and dogs on the gallery. Then we start to get into some really interesting territory with SimGuru Ninja's new icon, because as you can see here, his self-sim is holding a raccoon, because we can actually make raccoons and foxes in Create a Pet. Yeah, that gif really sums up my reaction too. And as SimGuru Ninja points out to me, it's hard to tell, but the raccoon is wearing a little samurai outfit. Trash Ninja Panda. So he will be able to dress up foxes and raccoons in different outfits too, as you can also see with SimGuru Daniel's icon, where he has an astronaut holding a fox in a cute little costume. It looks like the dinosaur costume, but in green. It's just kind of hard to tell from that angle. But what about the horses, some of you may be asking? Well, while they're not going to be in cats and dogs, there was an interesting interview with SimGuru Grant from Zoom In Games. I'll leave a link to it in the video description below. It has a bunch of stuff, but the interview for cats and dogs starts at just before 11 minutes in. And when he was asked about whether horses will come back, he said that they're thinking about it, but there are several packs that they're planning right now, so he can't talk about plans for horses at the moment. I definitely want horses to come back in The Sims 4 at some point, so this interview does give me a little bit of hope. I think horses could actually be a little bit easier to do than cars in one way, because with cars, even though you could do a lot of interactions with them still, like in The Sims 2, the cars are stuck to the driveway, but with horses, you're not stuck to the driveway. They can just run around like human Sims, so at least horses would have that going for them, even if The Sims 4 is not open world. And hopefully if they do bring horses back, they'll come with a world that has very big and open neighborhoods, so that there is still lots of space for horses to roam around in. Maybe even Brindleton Bay in cats and dogs will help fill that role as well. Maybe there'll be lots of open spaces in that world as well. It's just hard to really tell at this point, because we've seen very little of it at this point. Unfortunately, one other thing we know we're not getting in cats and dogs is no new occult or supernatural creature. And while I'm not surprised that this is the case, because we didn't get one in Get Together or City Living, it's still a little bit of a shame, because it feels like there's more hanging over the Game Pack team's shoulders now, because it seems like we're never gonna get an occult in an expansion pack again. I do hope witches get their own game pack. It could be like making magic, and that could potentially be really fun, but I don't think every supernatural creature that's ever been in the Sims series, or ones that haven't been in the Sims yet, really need their own pack dedicated to them. I mean, sure, they could do a supernatural expansion pack just like they did with The Sims 3, but then that takes up another expansion pack slot for an old idea, rather than a more fresh one. I'm hoping Seasons will return next year, but after that, I'd like an expansion that has a theme that hasn't really been done in that big a capacity, like farming. That could also work as a great way to bring back horses. They could potentially fit a farming theme even better than one just revolving around owning pets. One other thing that has been confirmed are Scottish folds, because you may know them for their cute little folded ears, and Simguru Jill said, yes, that there is a Scottish fold available in the breed catalog, or you can make your own. If you're wondering whether you can take pets to Granite Falls and potentially other vacation locations as they're added, yes, we can, and thank goodness, because I really hated that we couldn't take pets in The Sims 3 to the World Adventures locations. Like, yeah, sure, you could do that with the Traveler mod, but I really don't think we should have needed a mod to do that. And on the topic of taking your pets places, you may have noticed in various clips so far that there are dogs being walked by a leash, and I'm really hoping that it'll work really well in The Sims 4. I actually can't remember how it worked in The Sims 3, because I remember seeing it in trailers, but then when it came to playing the game, I think it was like a very specific interaction that you could only walk your dog on a leash with. But with The Sims 4, how I'm hoping it will work is that there'll be an interaction where you click on your dog, and then there'll be like, put on leash, and then your sim will put the leash on the dog with like a cute animation, and then when you tell your sim to go here, then the sim will walk their dog over to that spot with leash in hand. I think that'd be really cool, and since walk styles were a new feature introduced with The Sims 4, maybe that's possible. I hope it is. That could also help pave the way for strollers in the game, because I know a lot of people, including myself, want strollers for toddlers and babies, so I think if they could figure that out with walking dogs on a leash and actually routing with them, then hopefully strollers won't be too far behind. And I have one last bit of very odd news regarding cats and dogs before I move on to Eco Living. I'm just gonna play it right here. It's from EA's Instagram. Thanks to Sims Community for capturing it on video and putting it on YouTube.
The Sims 4 is such an open game, and sometimes you make mistakes. Well, we give you a way to backpedal that, because if you accidentally neuter your dog, well, in The Sims 4 you can now unneuter your dog.
So this clip left me very confused. It raises two big questions for me. One, how do you accidentally neuter your dog? And two, why are we allowed to unneuter them? Because it seems a little bit contradictory to their logic of the reasoning behind not being able to control our cats and dogs in The Sims 4, because they want the pets to be more realistic and spontaneous, but being able to unneuter your dog, how is that realistic? So, yeah, that's very odd. They want to be realistic in one particular aspect of cats and dogs, but in another they want to be like, okay, we can just reverse this mistake like as if it's nothing. So I don't know, it's odd. I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it was possible to unneuter through a mod, but an actual feature that has that? What will they even call that in the game? Where you just like, you just click on a vet and it'll just be like, it'll just literally be called unneuter or what? I don't know. Maybe it'll just be called reverse neuter or something like that. Hopefully it won't be too long until we know more information. Alright, so let's move on to the community stuff pack. So, in response to a question about the release date, SimGurugram says it will be out sometime in 2018. They will not be sharing the exact release date until the pack gets its normal stuff pack announcement. So that would happen about a week before it comes out. So, yeah, I wouldn't expect a release date that's specific until next year for sure. So SimGurugram shared this concept art from an IR review meeting for the dryer. He also showed the global object spec of the dryer, which includes various technical information related to the object. You can see some tweets here that give an explainer for things like the transform bone, where Sims route to, as well as attach the animation to so the dryer shakes while in use and make everything under it shake too. Under the transform bone is also where they will attach a visual effect so we can see clothes tumbling about inside the machine. There's spots noted on top of the object where we can place decorations, and with the flat green surface on top, that's where cats will be able to walk across. So they actually are already thinking of compatibility with cats and dogs. And then the green panel on the front is where Sims will press buttons to use the dryer. I think it's really cool to see all of the technical work that goes behind each and every object in The Sims. And I think it's really neat that they're already considering how pets could interact with the content from this stuff pack. But don't worry, pets will not be able to hide inside of the laundry machines. One thing they're doing that they didn't do with The Sims 3 that I think is really interesting is that they're planning to allow dryers to stack on top of washers. That I think will be very crucial for saving space, especially if your sim is living in one of the apartments in San Myshuno. With the washers and dryers, they do not fit inside of counters like the dishwashers do, but they will be the same width and height as counters, so they will still fit perfectly between them. SimGurugram also talked a bit about hampers, so it sounds like they're going to work pretty much exactly the same as they did in The Sims 3, where dirty laundry will pile up in the hampers. Then when Sims go to do laundry, they won't be carrying around a laundry basket. They'll just grab the dirty laundry out of the hamper and take them to be washed. The laundry system will also be opt-in in the same way as it was in The Sims 3. If your current household does not have any hampers on the lot, you don't need to worry about laundry. I don't have any complaints about that. I think this is a case where things already worked great in The Sims 3 and doesn't have to be changed when brought back in another Sims game. But if you're wondering if the laundry hampers that have already existed throughout various packs in The Sims 4, they will not be updated to be functional. They're just creating the new hampers with the stuff pack and that's it. But I think there may be hope that modders will be able to make new versions of the hampers that we already have so that they are functional. So if you use custom content, I think we may be in luck here. There is one bit of bad news though, because after looking over the scope of the pack, it was clear that they have to cut functional ironing boards out of the equation. And if there was a chance of them coming back, well, it's relatively unlikely. And to be honest, I'm not really upset over it. Like, we didn't vote on ironing boards originally, so that was like one thing where it's like, okay, when ironing boards were mentioned by Graham, I figured they would be cut probably, if they needed to cut anything. So this was something that I was expecting, and I don't know, I guess ironing could have been interesting in just the way that it is something that hasn't been done in The Sims before, but ironing doesn't really go as much with an eco-friendly theme. And one last kind of miscellaneous question with stuff packs is that you may have noticed that on the main menu screen with the renders that show up, there's always a new one when a game pack or expansion pack releases, but there's never been one for a stuff pack. Why is that? Well, Graham says that they prefer to reserve that spot for the larger packs which add more new features and gameplay. I guess that makes sense. Stuff packs are smaller, more frequent releases, so I guess just having the renders change for the game packs and expansion packs really help those packs be more of a big deal. And that wraps up another Sims info/thoughts video. Oh man, there's been a lot of news this week, so this video definitely took a longer time than most other info/thoughts videos that I do. But I guess it does kind of help make up for the 2 months over this past summer being fairly dead. Like, yeah, there were a couple of announcements, but if you don't really care about The Sims Mobile or the console version, then you're pretty much left in the dark. But let me know what you think of all of this news for cats and dogs, as well as the community stuff pack. I'll talk to you all later, and have a great day. Thanks for watching!